Respected Principal Madam, Dr. Wag, I could get the name of Mr. Gandhi and other dignitaries, other experts, domain experts who have been invited for today's lecture on several topics, and my dear students, ladies and gentlemen. The topic today is evolution of regulatory landscape. The first word is evolution. So what do we mean by evolution? Evolution is development of anything, including law, over time. Like you see, mankind has evolved. Every aspect of life, including plants, rocks, they evolve over time. And by evolution, we mean proper development, not simple development or not uncontrolled development or not negative development in any sense of the term. Evolution is always for the positive change. For example, you have Darwin's theory of evolution, by which he has described how mankind has evolved over time, how plant kingdom has evolved over time. My talk will be vis-a-vis the direct and indirect tax laws specifically, because you have other domain experts for the other topics. But the regulatory landscape that has evolved over time in India also is really remarkable. Earlier, whatever laws were there, for the last 2, 3, 4 years, we were listening the voices from the side of the government that they were archaic laws, they were old laws, not very relevant. And we have seen the changes of the law, the evolution of the law very recently and in a major way. All across the board. Civil aviation law has changed, criminal laws have changed, tax laws have changed. You name it and it has changed in a very, very major way. We'll see how the tax laws have changed and how these changes are very, very relevant to each and every one of us. We'll go through the history of the tax laws in a very short way. Income tax, what it was earlier, when I say earlier, I mean historic times, we get a definite indication of income tax only in the British era. Before that, the laws were there, but it was in a totally different form. In Manusmriti, we find some mention of law, taxes on traders, artisans, farmers, etc. In the British era, it was first established as a law, and it was in 1860. That was post 1857 revolt, where a lot of losses were incurred by the British government. Just to recover those losses, the government brought around income tax law, and it recovered from high income earners. Then in 1922, the TDS concept was formalized, and today's TDS, tax deduction at source, came into existence. The first post-independence law that came into existence in terms of income tax was in 1961, but it started from 1st of April 1962. The modern reforms, as far as Income Tax Act is concerned, is always striving towards deep digitalization and further liberalization of the laws, the processes, the regulations. We'll move to the next. Customs Act. You see, as the name suggests, customs. What do you understand by customs? It's basically naming a tradition that is in existence. So this law was in existence from the ancient times. This is the oldest law and which was found in existence everywhere. In our part of the globe, that means Southeast Asia, we have the earliest signs of customs law in Indus Valley civilization, which is the oldest civilization known. There was a port in Gujarat called Lothal. We have the exact relics of how the import and export trade was undertaken there. we come to the medieval period or the Mughal period. It was a very well-defined act, very well-defined traditional collection of duties known as Ashar and Mahsool. Then we come to further British period. In British period, this was a continuous source of income for the government, and proper laws were laid, new revenue board was formed, and we progressed through the 1878 Act, and by 1924 we had the Land Customs Act. In recent times when we come, we have the Customs Act of 1962, which further progressed into the Tariff Act 1975. Then in 1986 and 1988, we had the harmonized system of regulation and classification and the custom valuation rules. Through 91, 92, 93, when it was Manmohan Singh's government, liberalization was introduced and we moved to complete computerization. Today, you will be glad to know that we have completely paperless customs. No paper is involved. We move to the next topic, which is excise and GST. In earlier times, it was known as central excise, but we don't have any historical evidence as such of central excise. The first evidence of central excise was in the year 1944 in British era, where the excise taxes were collected on salt, cotton, steel, etc. That is how this act came into being. Later on, the government enacted Central Excise and Salt Act 1944, where everything was formalized. As on date, all these taxes of central excise and other production taxes have been subsumed and been made GST. We only have two items on which central excise duty is leviable today, that is petroleum and alcohol. It progressed further, and in 2017 we had GST. So the journey of central excise has been from central excise to GST. You can say that. You see, earlier it was very surprising that we were a country of 28 states basically. And the country was behaving as if 28 countries were in existence in terms of tax. Every state had its own law, every state had its own sets of regulations, and a tax practitioner of Maharashtra could never go to Gujarat and practice because the laws had changed. He could not go to Tamil Nadu and practice. But today with GST, we have a unified law where everything has come under one umbrella known as GST, and it is uniform across the country. So you can say that earlier it was unity in diversity, but today the tax laws has also united the country. Earlier the taxes were on manufacture, sales, purchase, service, and all are under different acts and authorities, under different states. So it was very difficult to bring everybody on board before GST. The government had to all the states in the sense that whatever is your today's duty collection of central excise and other taxes, you will be given or compensated by 14% year on year on that revenue value. Say suppose if a state had 100 rupees. So from next year he would have been given 114 rupees by the center, whether they collected less than 100 or more than 100. This was a great relief for all the states and the main motivation factor how the states could be brought on board. Otherwise there was a lot of opposition from states. But finally it was achieved, and we have today the GST law and in complete form. The journey of GST you can see on the slide. It's practically started from 2006 when it was formally introduced in the parliament. Then through the years it went with several developments, and finally on 1st of July 2017 we had the new law. I'll tell you a basic difference between all these laws, especially these tax laws, which normally we don't pay attention to. In case of customs and income tax, the government can always announce any change it wants in the budget. But in case of GST, it cannot announce any change in the budget. Why? Because GST is controlled, decided and formalized only by the GST Council. The government on its own cannot take any decision. You can say that it is sort of a club law where all the states have come together and they decide as to what will be the direction, rates and regulations of the law, and finally it is approved under the leadership of the finance minister of the country, and then it comes into being. Now, you see, the GST law, it practically started in September 2016. Why I say September 2016? Because the first GST Council meeting was held in this month. And it was decided that GST Council meeting will be held every quarter in a year. That means in 1 year, there were 4 GST Council meetings. Now, if you see from 2017 till 2025, it's almost 9 years, which would have made it, say, 36 GST Council meetings, and 2 meetings of 2016, 38 maximum. But see on the slide, it talks of 56 GST Council meetings. Meaning thereby, what I want you people to understand, that as was earlier being said by the government, that these laws have become archaic, these are British time laws, not suited for a free country, it is not citizen friendly, it is not trade friendly. All those things have gone. Whatever anyone says, be very clear that the government is 100 to 200% responsive on whatever is the demand of the trade, whatever is the request of the stakeholders for GST, and whatever any tax practitioner also goes forward and tells them. It is so proactive. So in the 56th GST Council meeting, we had many rate rationalizations. We'll see further how. Many reforms were brought around. Many circulars were issued. Many explanations were issued. Wherever there was confusion, it was clarified, and we have moved on smoothly. You would be really surprised that today across the board the GST duties have been reduced. You go to any public place, I mean any shop or any mall or any good marketplace. Earlier, since it has some time has passed, there was a board showing that GST has been reduced, GST has come to this extent, and we had several rates of GST. But today we have only 2 rates of GST, which is very much in consonance with the developed countries what they have. You see, I'll shift to vernacular to make you people understand 2 basic concepts. गवर्नमेंट कभी भी कैसे काम कर सकता है एक ही सिचुएशन में, जब उसके पास पैसा हो, और पैसा इतना इम्पोर्टेंट इसके पहले कभी नहीं था. In the age that we are living, money has become the most important thing. And second basic concept is of chore and police. Okay? We'll see how this has resulted in these kind of changes. Government needed money for development, for health, for education, for insurance, for anything that government wants to do for the citizenry and for the country. Even for defense you need money. So without money there's nothing. You see, Pakistan is an example who could not bring about any reform. Why? Because they don't have money. What reform will they bring? So, इस दुनिया में अभी तक 4 युग हुए हैं, और हर युग का एक प्रमुख कारक है. A main factor was there along which the युग revolved. सबसे पहले सतयुग, फिर त्रेता, फिर द्वापर और फिर आज कलयुग. सतयुग का सत्य था, त्रेता की मर्यादा थी, द्वापर का छल था, और कलयुग का धन है. सो मनी इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके. सेकेंड कंसेप्ट, चोर और पुलिस का कंसेप्ट. चोर कैसे जीतता है? चोर भी जीतता है कभी कभी. यू हैव टू एक्सेप्ट द फैक्ट. देयर वाज अ वेरी फेमस मूवी कॉल्ड पुष्पा. मोस्ट ऑफ यू मस्ट हैव seen it or heard about it. There the wrongdoer won the fight, which was between chore and police. Why did he win? We'll go to the basics of the concept. Only because he surprised the police. खेल ये है कि कौन किसको सरप्राइज करता है। पुलिस यदि सरप्राइज करेगा तो चोर पकड़ा जाएगा, और चोर सरप्राइज करेगा तो पुलिस हारेगी। बेसिक कंसेप्ट यही है। तो आज के डेट में आपका पुलिस ज़्यादा मजबूत है, वो हर चोर को पकड़ ले रहा है। आई एम टेलिंग दिस इन टर्म्स ऑफ GST. We are collecting so much of data and they all are being analyzed by AI tools that the moment some wrongdoer steals some tax of the government and by the time he goes back to his home, he gets a notice. We are so fast now. Everything is computerized, everything is moving at great speed, and we are able to catch all the culprits. That has also relaxed the government. There is no revenue leakage now. And we are sure that even if somebody of a shatir dimag like Pushpa tries, we'll catch him even. So that is the situation of the country's government today. You see, when all it started in 2017, the total tax collection was 7.41 lakh crores. By 24-25, we were at 22.08 lakh crores. Just see the jump, more than 3 times. And in the month of April and May, it was 2.36 lakh crores, and in May it was 2.01 lakh crores. Why I am telling you these figures is that by this time the government was sure that the GST collection per month has stabilized to the tune of 2 lakh crores per month. This gave the power, the confidence to the government to bring around reforms and changes all across the board. Everything has changed. We'll see how. You see, now GST has become so important. Earlier you must have remembered, like Justice Saab was talking about some stock market investment. And everybody knows what it is. Earlier the stock market pundits who used to predict the stock market for the next month would always depend on many factors. Economy, the total expense that the government had announced 10 months back, 8 months back. Gone are those days. In the first week of the month, the stock market pundit looks at the GST collection of the last month and then he predicts how the stock market will move. What a paradigm shift. You see, the economists, they had predicted that there will be major changes. But see how major a change has happened. Now, with this increased collection of GST, government has done away with almost 85% of the individual income taxpayers. Bang, we are at 12 lakhs rupees a year. Income is now totally tax exempt. We'll see that also later. And US, with the latest tariffs that you must have heard, they are also contemplating to do away with 85 to 90% of their individual taxpayers and up to $2 lakh income per year. So you can safely arrive at the conclusion that 2 biggest democracies of the world are now moving from and relying more and more on indirect taxes rather than direct taxes. This has been possible only because the extra money that the government is collecting. And not only extra money that the government is collecting, government was sure that even if we let go of certain revenue, we'll be able to recover that revenue by boosting consumption, which is again a very big change from earlier times. Could never be imagined earlier. You see, the government in this process has been very, very responsive. We have flexible rates of duty today, of tax, and as I told you, several clarificatory circulars have been issued, decisions have been taken, and this particular process from 2017 till 2025 or 2026, which we are in, it is being described as a ship in motion, and whenever a snag develops, the ship is repaired while still in motion. Is it not a remarkable thing? अब सोचो एक गाड़ी चल रही है, गाड़ी में कुछ प्रॉब्लम आया, in the same speed it is repaired and you keep on moving ahead. It is something like that. It's really remarkable. we move to now the developed era of GST, the GST2 what we call, and in this we see that duty on practically every item, when I say every item, it's more than 400 items I am talking of, where the GST has been reduced. And in this process, the government has lost also money, but we are sure now that they will be recovering it. We'll see how. You see, right across the board, from daily essentials to automobiles to healthcare to services and sin and luxury goods, we have different kinds of duty. You can see in the last column that the rates of duties are only to the extent of 5% and 18% mainly. Only on sin goods, which is caffeinated drinks and yachts, it is 40%. So practically today we have only 3 rates of duty, and that too mainly it's 2 rates of duty, 5% and 18% standard, and 40% is there for very, very few goods. This could be achieved only because of the excessive collection which the government has been able to achieve because of processes, because of systems, because of circulars, because of computerization, because of huge collection of data. We are collecting data at every stage. We have different kind of returns, right from 1 to 2A, 2B, 3B, 9. We need not go into so much of details, but these are the returns which are being collected by the government almost every month. Thereby that nobody is left out of the tax net and nobody can befool the government now. There was an interesting case that how these fast changes can create confusion. We take the case of coal. The duty on coal was 5% GST and rupees 400 per ton compensation cess. In last meeting where GST2 started, GST2 era, the duties were changed to 18%. Now you see, in popular perception, people could understand from 5% it has gone to 18%, but they didn't realize that what was the compensation cess. Actually what happened, that with this change, on coal 260 rupees per ton was saved, and as a result, around 17 to 18 paisa in the production of electricity per kilowatt was saved. Just imagine, for the basic unit of electricity per kilowatt. In case of mining sector, the travertine blocks and granite blocks, again the rate of duty was reduced from 12 to 5%, and this has really helped the low cost housing, which is a popular program of the government. Then in case of multimodal transport, again the duties have been reduced from 12% to 5%, and government is letting go away of the revenue. We'll see what is the quantum. Then another important sector of the economy, we have a new gadget called drones. This technology is all pervasive. Every sector of the economy. You name it and you have the drones being used there. Be it agriculture, be it infrastructure, be it defense, be it even logistics, the last mile delivery. In developed countries, the goods are being delivered at home through drones. The technology has advanced so much. And in defense and security, we saw in the Indo-Pak war, drones were extensively used. Secondly, in case of critical pilot training for flight simulators and motion simulators, and for pilots of drones also, the GST has been made nil. There is no GST duty now. And all these steps which have been taken by the government to let go of the revenue has resulted in a shortfall of 48,000 crores rupees annually. It's a big sum. So how the government thinks to recompensate about it? The government is sure that the extra money which goes into the hands of the consumers will give a boost to the expenditure, and ultimately we'll get the GST collection on that also. And we are seeing it. We are seeing it that by the time it will stabilize, we'll get that extra money which we have lost. that the government is very much sure. And you see why GST could achieve this. There is a very important point in this. Earlier, all the taxes were either on production or on movement or on entry in a city like Octroi, which was in Bombay. Now, where is the GST levied? GST is levied at the end of the supply chain, right at the level of the consumer. So, whether anybody pays any duty to the government earlier or not, that is immaterial now. At the level of consumption, he has to pay the duty. So, nobody is out of that net now. This is how the government could achieve this particular surety that we won't lose any revenue really. This is a basic chart which has been taken by the IMF to measure the real terms of growth, real percentage of growth in the whole world. IMF is a neutral body, and in this we can see India stands second only to China in terms of real growth. Even developed countries like US, Germany, Japan are behind us, much behind us, which is remarkable achievement seeing what earlier India was. You will find many critics also saying that कि ये GST law क्या है बार-बार बदलता है. But imagine a situation where the government is so responsive to the taxpayers, to the stakeholders, to the tax practitioners, that whatever is brought to their notice, they immediately try and correct it, which is a great achievement both for the citizenry and for the government. Now, there have been quite a few changes in GST which were earlier decided but announced in the budget. There have been many pain points, and why government is changing, you will understand. एक market में बहुत common practice होता है, all of you must be knowing. If there is a company, say A, which is manufacturing, for example, fans, like Crompton Greaves, and it is supplying it to a dealer of Bombay, B. Now, B at the end of the year is able to sell 10 lakh units of this. The producer company gives him a quantity discount, doesn't he? It's a very common market practice. आप किसी कंपनी के लिए ज़्यादा बेचो, तो they give you some motivation, some inducement, some extra benefit. This was not allowed in the law. This was completely disallowed, and this led to many disputes also, because it's a market practice and it used to happen. But since there was a specific section in the law which did not allow this, so we could not allow this earlier. But now that section has been taken away, and this particular benefit is extended to all traders, all people, whoever are achieving this. Another major pain point was of BPOs, KPOs, the electronic companies which were working only on computers, and they were exporting it outside India. This particular thing was also not allowed because it was considered as the place of supply. This would be based on the place of supply principle or place of supply concept. The place of supply in these particular cases was considered as India. So the export benefits were denied. Plus they had to pay 18% GST on it, which again was a major loss. But this anomaly has also been removed, and now we have achieved a situation where there are least disputes on this, and that is saving a lot of money and time of the government and the taxpayers also. Again, you see, earlier when GST was introduced, I told you about this chore and police concept. There were a lot of frauds. Many fake invoices were issued. Government revenue was frittered away. Regularly there was news in the newspapers that somebody has done a fraud of 100 crores, 500 crores or something like that. We have crossed much over that situation. Today, whatever refund is filed by any party, be it a local manufacturer or be it an exporter, 90% of his refund, which is due to him. You see, how is refund due? There are two situations. If there is an inverted duty structure where the input, the rate of duty on the input says 5%, and the final product is at 12%. The person who is manufacturing the final product pays up 7% more than what comes to him. and this money gets stuck up with him. He cannot claim it because he is the last person in the chain, and after he sells, he cannot claim it from anybody else. Whereas the first person can always claim the GST. And in case of exporters, what goods are sent outside the country, whatever input goes into the item of export, all that is gone with the product, then who will compensate him for this? And this blocks the working capital of the trader or the exporter. Earlier, we were taking 90 days, which is statutorily allowed. The time to issue a refund is 90 days as per law. But now within 10 to 15 days, we pay 90% of the refund which is due to a party automatically. And this helps them to get over with the crisis of working capital. This is a very big trade-friendly step. Secondly, there was a blanket ban on GST refunds below 1,000 rupees. But now the concerned section has been removed, and even a small trader, say who is at Thane, he wants to export some goods to a person in USA or Japan or any other foreign country. Goods or items, say are eatable. Somebody who is outside the country, he feels quite nostalgic about Indian food and all. He has ordered for, say, 1,000 rupees goods. On 1,000 rupees goods, the GST will be 18%, so it will be only 180 rupees. But for that small exporter, this 180 rupees is also important. Earlier he was not getting it, but today he is getting that 180 rupees, which is again a very remarkable step by the government. You see, there were appellate authorities, advanced ruling authorities in every state, and a company which had its office in 2 different states, many a times a situation arose where the 2 appellate authorities gave different rulings on the same topic because of different interpretations of law. It's all a question of interpretation. You must be, all students of law must be knowing this. When you read the case laws, on one particular topic there are different kinds of case laws. So now that problem has been removed, and a national level advanced ruling appellate authority has been formed, which can attend to these kind of cases. I am giving you these examples just to see how responsive, within a span of say 9 years, we have undergone so many changes, and all positive changes going in favor of the SSEs, the taxpayers, and the different stakeholders. There were quite a few changes in customs budget also. Whatever customs has changed, it has changed with 2 basic intentions. Number 1 is Make in India theme. We are really promoting whatever can be manufactured in India should not be allowed to be imported from outside. Government is willing to become even partners with the business people by investing say 30%, 40% depending on different sectors of the total cost. And this all could be achieved because of TFA. TFA is the Trade Facilitation Agreement, which was signed through WTO by all members of the WTO. WTO has around 180 members. All the members came together on their own. That is why customs today is known as a club law, which you can say even GST to an extent, and we'll see how income tax also to an extent. So customs, all the 180 countries of the WTO, they came together and they said that we'll be having similar kind of laws, provisions, processes, the procedures, everything will be similar in every country of WTO. And you'll be pleasantly surprised to note that this all started seriously in 2016, and by 2022 India reported back to WTO that we have implemented everything. And today India is in a position to handhold the small countries and help them achieve that, which is again showing India in a good light. You see, as I told you, because of the WTO, we can call this Customs Act as a club act. The chronology can be seen clearly on the screen from 2016, where SWIFT happened, then E-Sanchit, then DPD. Could you ever imagine a situation where a container lands from outside in India and it goes straight to the factory? Can you imagine this situation? Maybe without paying the duty. So this has been achieved only with the confidence by the government that nobody can cheat us as far as revenue is concerned. We know which party is taking. We have knowingly given them this benefit, this facility, and accordingly will be recovering whatever duties are due to them. Then came Turant Customs, faceless assessment, which came parallelly in income tax also. And as I told you, today we are completely paperless. By faceless assessment, you must all be aware that income tax has also gone completely faceless. GST is completely faceless, and so is customs, as on date. You need not go yourself personally to any department. You can file it through computer. It will be assessed, examined, all on computer, and you can pay the duty also online. For that also you need not go. And you can arrange for the transporter and get your goods delivered to your doorstep. Now this faceless assessment, why it was introduced? Basically it achieved anonymity in assessment. Nobody knew who was assessing, so they could not approach that officer. Then it has resulted in speedier customs clearance and greater uniformity in assessment. If there is nobody to influence the assessment, there will be always uniformity in assessment. This was achieved with two main factors which motivated everyone to work fast and nicely. One was ICE dash and the other was ICE tab. These are concepts which were never imagined or heard of in the country, any time. You see, what do you mean by ICE dash? We have created a dashboard where similar formations of customs are listed and visible on the net, visible to the higher-ups of the country, to the formation where it exists, and to the importers and exporters. You'll understand it by clearly looking at the ICE dash. You see, this is a dashboard. This you can see. There are three basic formation in customs. Sea customs, ship से आता है goods, containers उतरते हैं, sea customs. Air से आता है goods, air cargo complexes, goods come only by flights. And third is ICDs, which are landlocked areas, which from where customs clearances are done. All the three different kinds of formations were on these dashboards. And the time of clearance taken by each and every formation was visible to everybody. The formation which used to clear the goods earlier used to become the ideal for all other formations. This induced a healthy competition among all the formations of the same type. There is a psychological theory of nudge which subtly pushes people to do what is wanted out of them. This could be achieved with that nudge theory. So this was first concept of ICE dash, and this is the link. Anybody can visit and see the ICE dash. Second was ICE tab, which we saw in the last slide. You see, ICE tab, you can consider it as a moving computer. What used to happen earlier, that a custom officers used to sit at a particular place for examining the goods. And the area used to be very vast, 50 acres, 100 acres, 200 acres, one ICD used to be there. When he left that place where he was sitting, the computer was fixed there. So he at times took 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe he had to walk or move by car for 2 kilometers, even more at one point of time, and he used to examine 13, 14, 15, up till 20 consignments at one go, which could take him 2 to 3 hours comfortably. So he used to enter the report after coming back to his station. But now government has been able to solve this problem by giving him a moving computer which is known as an ICE tab, and from wherever he is, he can enter the report and goods can be cleared, which has made the system much faster. We'll see how faster it has become. You see, before the Turant Customs came into being, the department or the customs department used to take 3 to 4 days to clear the goods. But after this Turant Customs was implemented, customs department remarkably takes only 6 hours to clear the goods. Is it not a miracle of sorts? Next is a concept of AEO. When I say AEO, you can see how government has tried to adopt the best practices from around the world, which was never thought of earlier. And we could do so only because now we are relaxed, that we are a comfortable economy as far as money is concerned and as far as the regulations implications are concerned, and how well we can implement those. AEO is Authorized Economic Operator. It all started in 2011 when the USA was facing terrorist activities very actively. So USA came up with this plan of making the supply chain of goods as safe as possible. That is how the concept of AEO was introduced. But what happened in India, as you all know, that since it was not part of the law, so every custom formation treated it in whatever manner they thought it fit. It was not uniformly treated all across the country. So in 2018, we took a major step and we formalized it, made it a part of the Customs Act, and new section 143AA was introduced. With this, the AEO came into being, and now we have more than 6,000 plus AEOs who are given all kinds of facilities by the Customs Department, including allowing their goods to go out without paying the duty, and their goods being allowed out of customs area without assessment and without examination. This is the level of trust that we have been able to build, only because of the systems in place. This has resulted in transparency in import and export, and also helped in clearance of the goods in a much faster way. Another very important and revolutionary thing which happened in customs was, you see, there are many countries, specifically for India, where we have common land borders, like say Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, other formations. There it used to take a lot of time to clear, specifically in Bangladesh. You see, Bangladesh used to remain closed on Fridays, whereas we worked on Fridays. So, the government brought around a program where all these could be integrated. That is how we came ahead with the concept of integrated check post. And goods, when reaching one side of the border, just imagine it were examined and examined plus assessed on one side of the border. Then it was given out of charge by customs. Then it went to the BSF of our country. Then it went to the BSF of the other country. Then again the same processes were repeated on the other side, and then it went for the consumption. It used to take at times 20 days, 25 days, even more or less. But today we can proudly say that we are able to achieve this on almost 1 day or 2 days basis. Just imagine the change, and how could this be possible? You see, what we did, we integrated the check post and made an area wherever possible where the goods went, and all the agencies of both the countries were requested to come there. They used to come there, complete all their formalities, and at one go goods were cleared, plus the computer systems of both the countries were connected, and data was transferred on real-time basis. This could be achieved only with this. And so, we can now claim that we are at par with all other developed countries of the world in terms of processes and movement of goods in customs. In Union Budget also, customs proposals were there, and it was mainly with the aim of Viksit Bharat and deep digitalization, and GST has also been subsumed in the customs. I am bringing attention of your people to major things that have happened and which were major pain points, and how law has become responsive and is changing as per the requirement of the taxpayers and of the citizens. See, earlier, could you imagine there was a situation where Indian fishing vessels, when they used to bring fish in India, at times they were charged customs duty. This was a tax trap. Why this was created? You see, as per law, till 12 nautical miles from the shore, it is known as the country's waters, territorial waters. But many fishing vessels used to go beyond 12 nautical miles. And there they used to fish and come back. So as per law, it became import. And so import duty was being collected from them. As simple as that. But it was basically wrong, which they represented, the government accepted, and bang, we have changed the Customs Act. So this could happen only because of the responsiveness of the government. And now, after changing the section itself, we are in a situation where not only we allow fish coming out from the 12 nautical miles area and with no import duty, plus if they export from that outside 12 nautical miles area, they are considered as only export and all export benefits are extended to them. Plus how things have changed to change the understanding of the people also. Earlier, whosoever was voluntarily even coming forward and paying any duty for some wrongdoing or say genuinely missing some duty, it was known as penalty. But now it has been changed and it is known as only charge. Why was this done? देखो, पहले गवर्नमेंट वॉज इन ए रेगुलेटरी रोल, हम सिर्फ डंडा चलाते थे, ठीक है, जो भी इम्पोर्टर्स है उसको मारना है, पकड़ना है. But over time, from regulators, we became facilitators. And now, as on date, from facilitators, we have become trade partners, which could never be imagined earlier. This is the level of confidence that we have attained as a country, as a government, for our citizens who are our. And I will tell you in the end, and I will give you some food for thought also, how this evolution has taken place and it has resulted in what kind of a situation, which we have the main aim as for today's talk. And in this, the new export incentives were also given for seafood industry, for leather and footwear, for textiles and MSME sector. Personal imports and gifts specifically, which was earlier duty free, then suddenly it became chargeable to 20% of basic customs duty. Now they have been slashed to 10%, almost half. And many manufacturing incentives have also been given. 17 cancer drugs and 7 rare disease drugs have been made completely basic customs duty free. Lithium ion cell manufacturing, sodium antimonate, nuclear power has been exempted completely, and new baggage rules have been introduced. पहले जो नॉर्मल कंसेप्ट हुआ करता था कि एयरपोर्ट पे आप आए तो कस्टम ऑफिसर आपको पकड़ लेगा, all those things have become liberalized. Earlier, if you are allowed only 5,000 value, so now it has been increased to more than 20,000. Earlier, you could not bring in any gold or jewelry with you. Now, ladies can bring up to 40 grams of jewelry whenever they come from abroad, and gents are allowed up to 20 grams. And especially if they are wearable jewelry, which are day-to-day wear, they are allowed without any problem. We have now as our aim an integrated system and trust-based clearance is being done. As I told you that goods are allowed to go out of the docks even without paying the duty. There are 3 different categories of AEO, Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3. 2 and 3 are allowed duty-free clearances. That means they can take the goods to their factory premises and later on pay the duty till the 30th of that month. A great relief. Why this was worked out, you know? Because in big companies, the quantum of duty used to be in crores. If suppose they were allowed to pay on the same day, they would pay the same amount of duty. But what used to happen for big amounts, they had to go back to their headquarters and get the amount audited before paying. This used to take 2-3 days, and that resulted in the importer paying customs duty plus interest, which resulted in many audit problems in their company. So this anomaly has been now removed, and the advance rulings have been increased from 3 to 5 years. Warehouse also has been really liberalized. Earlier there used to be a physically present customs officer. He has been removed, and just on self-declaration it is allowed. We come to the last part of the presentation of this. You see, Income Tax Act also has announced quite a few changes, and you see some slabs here. Income tax is also now completely faceless. Even the hearings are done virtually, no physical contact with anybody. Now, why are these 4-5 slabs here? Can anybody tell me? 4 lakhs to 8 lakhs, below 4 lakhs it is here. At the beginning of the lecture, I just said that up to 12 lakhs it is totally exempted. So why these slabs and why these rates? Pardon? No, we have crossed that stage also. It was 1 year before old and new regime was there. I'll tell you what this is. This is as per section 87A of Income Tax Act, which overcomes all these different kinds of slabs, which says that up to 12 lakhs you will be not charged any income tax, and for service class people up till 12 lakhs 75,000 there is no income tax now. But once your income increases 12 lakhs, then these slabs will come into being. You will be charged taxes on this particular rate. So this is the basic concept. You see, income tax has really revolutionized the changes. In place of 819 sections earlier, now we have only 536 sections. Just imagine, how could government reduce it? And the language was very complex. Not a common man could never understand Income Tax Act in detail. There were so many verbs and applauses and commas, full stops, those things were used. To interpret that act was quite difficult. Only CS could properly do it. But everything has been simplified. More than 1200 provisions and 900 explanations have been removed. And the TDS, which was all across the Income Tax Act, the provisions of TDS were scattered all over the Act. All have been brought together, and now one section 393 has been done, which is a very great step for simplification of the tax law. And another important concept, you must have all heard, whosoever is filing a return, there was a financial year and an assessment year. That concept has been taken away, and now we have only one tax year from 1st of April till 31st of March. What we saw in these things, that how tax laws have evolved. So we understood two basic things. Politics divides, tax unites. Today we have a tax law which is similar in all countries of the world. In case of customs, in case of GST also, everybody has implemented this kind of law in almost the same shape. And income tax, surprisingly, takes cue from OECD, Organization of Countries for Development, that is based in France. And they also tweak their laws as per the agreement which they arrive at in the OECD meetings. So you can say safely that all three tax laws are now club laws, and they are for the benefit of the people. Now, why exactly this evolution was needed? And apart from this club law, what can we say? And what could be a food for thought? Anybody? If anybody has understood? The justice who inaugurated this seminar today, he was talking about AI. I'll tell you 2-3 difficult examples of AI. There is a big 4 company you must have heard of law. Deloitte company was given a contract by Australian government for doing some survey and putting the results on the net. Some trainee did it through AI, and without checking it was put on the net, and Deloitte was fined $445,000 for this particular act. Okay. Recently, Supreme Court has penalized a lawyer for quoting a wrong case law of around 1 lakh rupees. Bombay High Court has penalized quite a few lawyers. So what is the takeaway point of today's keynote address? For all young lawyers, I will warn you, you will be using AI. There's no two ways about it. And I'm not telling you not to use. But be responsible and then use. Always check what results you have got. Recheck. Recently in my own office, I had to pull up one of my juniors because of wrong usage of AI. And for simple calculation of the total GST collected, he used AI and he came up with different figures, wrong figures. So you please use it so that you are faster, you can attend to as many cases as possible, but then be very, very careful. Thank you, all of you. It was, tax is a boring topic, but all of you were with me. Thank you again for that.